being here, Jake.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you as well. You, after you saw Amanda, you ordered a drink as well.
I want booze, too.
All right, there you go. It's right there. If you want to reach back, there you go. And cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my God.
Cheers,
I'm so happy. We met briefly when you hosted, you were a musical guest, at SNL in 2004. It was a fantastic performance. It was one of my favorite shows, hosted by Colin Farrell, cameo by Lindsay
Look
Lohan.
at those pants.
Yeah.
Well, actually, this backless woman's jumpsuit I was wearing caused a lot of controversy at the time.
Did it really?
Yeah.
What was
yeah.
the controversy?
I got a lot of hate mail.
Really?
Yeah.
For when? I mean, I guess 2004, I would have thought people were maybe a little more forward-thinking.
Shoulderless, plunging neckline. I mean, I don't know. But,
Yeah.
but good memories.
Good memories. So,
Yes.
and a lot happened. You turned 40. You did a Broadway show, solo album, and a memoir. Boys Keep Swinging. Why the title Boys Keep Swinging?
David Bowie is my, number one. You know, when I was growing up, he was just my absolute... I discovered him when I was 8 years old. And the album Lodger that song comes off of is just one of my favorites. And when he passed away, it was such a beautiful, sad, and special week. And I was just going... Every night I was going to Bowie parties and stuff. And that song came on one night, and I was like, that's what I'm going to call the book.
It's such a fantastic song. It's so anthemic, and you had to go and revisit a time. You separate the book into 3 sections. You have Scissor Sisters, you have Youth, and you have New York.
Yeah.
You lived in New York. When did you move here?
I moved here in 1999, and yeah, it was a very different time than it is now. You know, I was living basically in a place that was like it was on South First Street in Williamsburg, and it was like. It rained in my room. It was like this raw loft. There was basically a toilet next to the kitchen. It was just I
think you said it all with "it rained in your room." I think you painted a picture of New York real estate we can all appreciate.
It seeped down the walls.
And you, obviously, you were a musician, but you were also a go-go dancer. That was one of the ways you made ends meet.
That's how I started performing. I mean,
yeah, give it up for go-go dancing. Yeah,
It was so much fun. I mean, I love the attention. I love getting up on just up in a bar and taking my clothes off and having fun. And I would just have the time of my life. And then I realized, oh, this is kind of getting boring. What else can I do? And then I was like, should I be a singing go-go dancer? And that's how I started making music.
It's fantastic. I will say, and I'm not just saying this. We talked for weeks about how much fun you seem to be having on stage when you performed at SNL, because you dance with such incredible joy. So I'm not surprised to hear that was something that you had done for years and years.
Yeah, it's being on stage and just boogieing. And I mean, I love that what I do as a job is basically if I did what I do out in the street, I'd get arrested or something.
Sure.
It's I get to basically act like a completely insane person.
You've taken a lot. You put a lot of your costumes on stage, not just your SNL costume, but here are some that you've actually worn on stage. Do you want to tell me some of your favorites there?
This is my all-time favorite. This was a woman's Vivienne Westwood pair of shorts that I found. That was a tablecloth that I'd gotten from catering. We were in Scotland, and I was going to wear something else, and I just pulled that tablecloth off. And this was a Glastonbury outfit that was knit that started falling off my body while I was performing. It just started unraveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They always say that's the risk. I assume you've had many things that happen in your career that make you want to pinch yourself, and you can't believe they're happening to you. Cher tracked you down.
Cher tracked me down. Yeah.
How did Cher track you down?
On Twitter.
Okay.
I was having a really gnarly day, and I was flipping through Twitter, and she writes in all caps sometimes.
Yeah.
So I was just flipping through the 2,000 people I follow or whatever, and just saw all caps. And so you stop when you see Cher, right? I'm just oh, it's Cher. And then she said, Jake, I've been searching for your number and I can't find it anywhere. Please get a hold of me. And I was I wrote Twitter back, actually, and I was is she talking to me? and the consensus was that she was, and we were on the phone 2 hours later, and then I recorded I sang on one of her singles.
That's
the next day.
Incredible.
It was a good memory. It was a good memory. A lot of fun.
You got to meet Elton John.
Yeah, good friends. We've written tons of stuff together. I mean, I've over the years, I get to be on stage with John sometimes in Queens of the Stone Age.
There you go.
Which is Which is one. I mean, Queens of the Stone Age is one of my favorite bands of all time, and just getting to sing with them sometimes and perform with them is just like, just one of the highlights of my life. But yeah, I get to do all this awesome. I mean, it's a pretty fun life I get to lead.
Was that your takeaway? I mean, I'm always, again, because you've written a memoir. You're not obviously you're only 40, but you've lived a lot of life in those 40 years. When you finished this, did you have did you have a sense of that? When you finished it, were you like, man, I've gotten a lot done?
I realized what a whore I've been.
Okay.
Over all the years, because you really, you don't, and I mean that in the best way. You don't realize. I don't know if I can say that on TV, but
you said it in a book, so yeah.
I bet. You think you're fine, and you think you've lived this like normal life, and then you get it all down on paper, and you're like, wow, I've slept with a lot of people.
Yeah. Even just when you're doing the index, you're like, this is a lot of names.
A lot of thank yous. There's a lot of thank yous in the back.
Well, I'm sure they all thank you as well. And let me follow by thanking you for being here.